distribution. Just for anyone who doesn't know, it's when music comes to us and we send it on simply to Spotify, Apple Music, and all the other platforms you've heard of. In the industry, they're known as DSPs. But, you can think of them as music sites. There are lots of people that do this. You probably are aware of Ditto and TuneCore and DistroKid and so on. We are different to them, fundamentally. The biggest difference we have is that we don't work on a fee. We work on a commission. And as I would say to everyone, there's two kind of really important things to understand about that. The first is that, firstly, a service that charges a fee thinks that the fee gets them more money than a commission from your music. So they've kind of judged you and thought, well, they've done a calculation in their head and thought, well, you'll only get a certain amount of sales. And the fee gets me more than the share of your sales, so I'll charge you a fee. I find that quite depressing. It would put me off. And secondly, more importantly, if they charge you a fee, why would they do any more work for you once you paid that fee? So in terms of playlisting, which we'll get to sort of later, you pay them up front. I think all services are like that. They take your money and that's that. And if I ran that business, I wouldn't do any more work, because why would I? Because I'm not going to get anything more. So what we do is the opposite. We work on a commission. There are no upfront fees. If nothing happens, or we do nothing, or there is no success, there's no success for us. Everyone goes on about AI this, AI that. It has its place, but to get another human to listen to your music, to feature it, to be interested, to be engaged, you kind of need to be human yourself. So I am a human for the people that work with me, like musicians. I'm more human for the people I speak to when I do that. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if you have a problem and a bot answers you? I mean, that would not make me feel good. So there are no bots. I'm not a bot. There's other services that will put your music on Spotify, just like as we do, for a fee. As far as I know, there isn't much else. So they'll do that. They'll tell you they'll do that. It will happen. And there you are. And you'll get a statement and so on. There's a portal you can upload. So we have all of that. It has everything you would imagine, nuts and bolts and analytics, and you can sort of dig into playlisting on Spotify, on TikTok and this and that. You can look at all the demographics as you would imagine, as other platforms will give you. But we can provide and do provide and listen to absolutely anything you guys might want. So I say we can provide anything and everything that goes along with recorded music. So some examples of what that would be: licensing, which is a word that everyone uses all the time. That, for us, the kind of most common and regular entry-level aspect of licensing would be possibly a compilation album where someone out there, major record label, hears your music and says, we're doing a compilation on, I don't know, indie rock or Valentine's Day or anything at all. We think it's appropriate. We want to kind of have your music. And they would either send you an agreement or maybe us if they know that we work together. And then for those that are busy making music, are newer to reading contracts, I read a lot of contracts all the time. If you want to help, we can help you negotiate those things. So review it. Are there any good, are the good things good enough? Are there any nasty parts in there that should be taken out? Do that, and it can extend all the way up to the other word that goes always with licensing, which is the word sync, synchronization, which I'm sure you guys know all about. Music to picture, so music on a TV show, in a film, on a computer game, commercial. We do those. There's a lot of money in those when they happen. It's great for everybody. Fewer opportunities, but they're there. And when that happens, and if you'd like our help, we can help you negotiate those as well. Okay, so there's essentially three ways you might end up with a sync. The most likely to actually kind of complete, to kind of be signed off on, is one where, and this happens with us, it's quite a lot, you get like a creative agency, like an advertising agency, who has a meeting, who has a client, and it's like Tesco or something. Actually, there is a Tesco one, which I've got the power. Do you know Snap? There's people
I've got the power.
Yeah, and there's a little tick, right. So I've actually worked quite a lot on that song. That song is so popular. Everybody wants it. It's timeless. So yeah, something like that. So someone sits there, and actually this is SE1 is full of advertising agency. So sitting around here, let's make an advert. Let's get Snap. I've got the power. And then they go and look for who represents that piece of music. Second would be where someone says to me, I've got a brief. So we're making an advert. Here's a synopsis. This is what it's going to look like. It's going to be set on the beach in Ibiza, or I don't know, in the mountains of Colorado. There's a polar bear. Blah blah blah. It's for a product, beer, or who knows. And they will say, do you have relaxing music? Do you have invigorating music? Do you have guitar-based music? Whatever. when I get that, then I can, obviously I'm familiar with what we've distributed, so I can suggest stuff, so I can put stuff forward to meet that brief. And thirdly, sometimes we do reach out to people that we know look for music with some of our repertoire. What's really important to know about that is, and one of the fundamental things of my job, as I kind of touched on earlier, is I am a human. I keep saying it, maybe I'm not. I keep saying it. Am I protesting too much? No. But being heard is so important. Like, everyone gets too many emails. Everyone gets waffle. Everyone gets, oh God, I don't need this. It's boring. It's irrelevant. So it's so important for me to get results to never be that person. So we don't spam people. We don't spam agencies. So people often say, like, how active are you in looking for a sync for me? As active as we can be to be effective is basically the answer. We work on a commission, so we're really aware of and focused on royalties. Royalties are money that comes to you from a download, a purchase of your music, or a stream of your music. And as a person at the front mentioned, sometimes streams are very, very low individually, like what you get for that stream. You can look that up, and it changes over time. It changes from territory to territory, which is interesting, a bit political. So what are royalties? Yeah, money you get from people consuming, let's use that word, consuming your music. And yeah, pretty much you're going to get online, again, DSPs, Spotify and Apple Music, downloads or streams. Other sites will be downloads. And then, which is relevant here, I think, what people call neighbouring rights, which is essentially other associated revenue streams that come from the music, namely when it's performed publicly, i.e. on a radio. If you get radio plays or TV plays, there is money involved for the artist, and we do help people with that. I think for everyone here, playlisting is a kind of the holy grail. As I say, we work with many different platforms, DSPs. What you can achieve on each can vary depending on how they are. So downloads, we're not looking to get you in a playlist because they don't have playlists, right? For those that do, it's amazing to get when it works, when you get on there. It's the sort of, not the key to success, but it's an integral part, and it's very difficult. And everyone asks me, how do you do it? So what's so important is to think about every achievement in the music industry as an incremental step. Like, I think it's not going to do anyone any good to think, I'll kind of, as good as any record is, I'll make my record, it's brilliant, now now everything's perfect. Like, yeah, I've done it. Okay, so there's always a way to step forward, and to achieve more. I would advise that you don't fixate on, oh my God, I'm just going to leap forward, right? So how do you get on playlists? It's make the good music, which you're all doing. But it is important to back yourself up. It's really important to have something meaningful and engaging as promotion, because my job is to engage people, as I said, as a human being, right? But allegedly. Still, if you imagine the person who would receive communication from me about playlisting, so I'm really enthusiastic and I'm saying, yeah, this is really, really good, let's do it, whatever. They are receiving a lot of this sort of stuff. Now, even if they're really happy, they're on their best game, whatever, once they've read 10, 100 of these, they're going to be like, oh God, not more. So it has to grab. And it doesn't have to be difficult. It can be homegrown. You can do it yourself. I always say this to people. You can work on this yourself. You can target people on that really count for you on social media, build relationships. It's free for that. It's more effective because if you pay someone, often they email like 200 people you've never heard of and they don't reply. So what's the point of that? So yeah, it's really important to try and get on a playlist, to work towards that, to have meaningful promotion.